Hello, students of class 8. So, today we are going to study the chapter number 4, that is March, which is written by none other than the famous novelist, historian, and journalist, and even a politician. His name was Khushwant Singh. You can see the picture on the screen, and he was widely read Indian columnist. Columnists are the journals that experts write on a regular basis and which is produced in a newspaper or a magazine. So, he was famous for his novel that was Train to Pakistan, which he had written based on his experience in 1947. The partition of India was done. So he is also known for his translations of Urdu poetry as well as Sikh text. Explain you the chapter paragraph wise. So March is an unpredictable month. One day could be as cold as any in winter, the next as warm as any in spring. It may be as dry as a desert one morning, and by sundown as wet as a monsoon night. Fresh falls of snow in the mountains of Kashmir or Himachal bring chilly winds to the capital. Strong winds push clouds up to freezing heights, convert raindrops into ice, toss icelets up over and over again till they are too heavy to bear and let them descend on the earth as hail. Here, the author is trying to say that March is an unpredictable month. Means you cannot predict the month of March, and also one day it can be cold as any in winter, and the next as warm as any in spring. Okay, so it is very much unpredictable. You cannot predict the month of March. It may be as dry as a desert one morning, by sundown as wet as a monsoon night. Means in the morning the climate can be as dry as a desert and then as wet as a monsoon in the night. So fresh falls of snow in the mountains of Kashmir or Himachal bring chilly winds to the capital. Strong winds push clouds up to a freezing heights, convert raindrops into ice, toss icelets up over and over again till they are too heavy to bear, and let them descend on the earth as hail. So now here the author is trying to explain that the fresh falls of snow in the mountains of Kashmir, means when there is a snowfall in the mountains of Kashmir or Himachal, then that fresh falls of snow, it brings chilly winds to the capital. Then strong winds push clouds up to a freezing height. Means strong winds, what does it do? It push clouds up to a freezing height. Means the weather becomes cold, converts into hails. The ice, the raindrops, it converts into icelets and it becomes as a hail, and which results in hailstorm in the area. Okay, so March is very much unpredictable month. A close look at a hailstone and you will notice that it is of a milky white color and consists of layers of ice like skins on an onion. I used to wonder why hailstorms did not occur in winter months when it is cold, but in spring or early summers when it is warm. Now I know it takes strong winds to make hail. So here the author is saying that he look at a hailstone very closely, he notices that it is of a milky white color. Means it is of, like, it looks like a milky, like milk is of white color now, so it looks like a milky white color, consists of layers. it looks like it has layers of eyes like skin on an onion you eat na. So it looks like that. Okay, I used to wonder why hailstone did not occur in winter months. Means now he's wondering that why the hailstorms are not occurring in the winter months when it is very much cold, but in the spring or early summer. Now he knew this thing that it has to have, or it takes a strong winds to make hail. Means in the month of winter we don't have strong winds. Okay, we have strong winds only in the month of spring or early summers when it is warm. So now the author is saying that now he knew that it takes strong winds to make hail. In the next paragraph, I have often put away my woolen by the middle of the month and taken out my summer clothes, only to put back the cottons and once again get out cardigans and warm socks. What they say about May in England can be said of March in India. Never cast a cloud till March be out. Author is saying here in this paragraph that he often put away his woolen clothes by the middle of the month of the March and taken out the summer clothes, only to put back the cotton clothes and once again get out the cardigans and the warm socks. Means this month was so confusing. Means at a time it would be so cold and then again it would be so warm, so it confused the author also. Means at a time he used to take out his summer clothes and put away the woolen clothes, and then again he took out the cardigans and the warm socks. So now he is saying in the next sentence that what they say about May in England can be said of March in India. Means the month of May in England is same as the month of March in India, and there he used a phrase. He's saying here, never cast a cloud till March be out. Means cast means throw away, clout is article of clothing. Okay, so never cast, never throw away your clothing, your woolen clothes till the March be out. Means till the month of March is gone, don't keep your woolen clothes inside your almiras or keep it underground. Okay, now the sun also continues to behave erratically. Erratically means not following any regular plan or pattern. It comes up earlier by more minutes, then it goes down in the evenings. Means the sun also is behaving erratically. Means the sun is not following a regular pattern or a regular plan. It is also behaving in an irregular manner. Okay, now humans are not the only ones to be fooled by the weather. Insects, said to be endowed with an extra sense of forecasting the weather, suffer heavy losses. So it is not only the humans which are being fooled by this by the month of March and by the weather. So insects are also being fooled. Means insects are having this extra sense. Okay, they are endowed with this extra sense of forecasting the weather, but they are also being fooled in this month of March by the weather. Okay, mosquitoes, flies, and moths, which come out of hiding to pester humans, pester means to trouble humans, suddenly find the weather turn inclement and are frozen to death. Inclement means not pleasant, cold, or wet. So, here mosquitoes and flies and the moths also, they come out of their hiding and they annoy human beings, but because of this weather, means this weather is so confusing and you cannot predict this month of March, and what happens to them due to this weather, they are frozen to death. Okay, because the weather is not pleasant for them. All right, now in my diary I record the first time I hear crickets chirp. This is usually in the second week of March, probably somewhat earlier in my apartment than in other homes, as I have a log fire burning every winter night. A cricket's chirp can be a reliable substitute for a thermometer. The hotter it is, the faster the cricket chirps. If you do not believe me, try the following experiment. Count the number of chirps per minute, divide the total by 4 and add 40. The total will give you the temperature of the room in Fahrenheit. Here, in this paragraph, the author is explaining something very important, and he is recording this thing in his diary also. He is saying that in my diary, I record the first time I hear cricket chirps. Now, crickets are a type of mosquitoes that I don't know if you have heard or not. Maybe at night you can hear them chirping. Okay, very unusual chirp, especially at night you can hear them. Okay, so they are the insects. Okay, now this is usually in the second week of March, probably somewhat earlier in my apartment than in other homes, as I have a log fire burning every winter night. Now he's talking about this chirping of cricket. Now he's saying here that a cricket's chirp can be a reliable substitute for a thermometer. Means you can rely on cricket chirps. Okay, substitute means you can use the chirping of crickets, the insects, instead of thermometer. Okay, the hotter it is, the faster the cricket chirps. Means if the temperature is hot, then the chirping of the crickets will be faster. And if you do not believe me, try the following experiment. Now he is telling the experiment to do. Count the number of chirps per minute. Means per minute you have to count the numbers of chirps of the crickets, then divide the total by 4 and then add 40. Okay, the total will give you the temperature of the room in Fahrenheit. Whatever the total you are getting, you will get the temperature of the room in Fahrenheit. So this is the experiment the author is trying to tell you. Vagaries of the weather make Holi, the festival of colors, a chancy affair. It usually falls sometime between the later part of February and the end of March. Vagaries means the chances that are difficult to predict or control, especially in the month of March. It makes Holi, the festival of color, a chancy, very uncertain affair. It usually falls sometime between the later part of Feb and the end of March. Some years only the young are out with their long tubes, syringes, buckets of colored water and red powder to fight mock battles, yelling "Holi hai, Holi hai." Other years it is warm enough for the middle aged and the old to risk being doused. Doused means splashed or drenched with water. So in the it is telling about this Holi, the festival that we celebrate here in India. So it is telling that some years only the young are out with their long tubes. Tubes means all the things with which we play Holi, the buckets and the colored waters. Okay, and sometimes it is the weather is very much uncertain, and in other years it is very much warm enough for the middle aged and the old to risk being doused. Means this because it is very much unpredictable month now, so sometimes it is okay for the young ones and sometimes it is not okay for the old people, but some in other years, maybe in some other years, it is warm enough for the aged persons and for the middle aged ones. Okay, now in the next paragraph, by mid-March the mulberry tree is also known as shahtooth, you must have eaten it, Morus alba in Latin for the white fruited variety, has both flowers and leaves. For a few days, its caterpillar like fruits are free to all for picking. Behonias are still in flower, though now with leaves around them. Mango trees are covered with powdery cluster of blossoms. So here some of the trees are mentioned over here, where who have this powdery cluster of blossoms. And here in the next paragraph, in March both birth and death are much evidence, means in March both the birth and death are can be seen. On the one hand, you can see the grapevine and Madhumalati quis calis, meaning who, what, indica, a name given to it by a Dutch botanist because of its eccentric. Here it is given the meaning of eccentric means strange and unusual manner of growth. Add new leaves every day. On the other, neems, mahuas, jamuns, peepals, and banyan are shedding their foliage, means some of the trees are mentioned over here where they grow, okay, and some of the trees which are mentioned where they shed their foliage. Okay, now the next paragraph. Of the dying and the reborn, peepals and banyans have the most delicate of new leaves, pale pink, silky, soft, and beautifully shaped. If you want an offering from nature as your bookmark, you cannot do better than press their leaves in your album. So here, this peepals and banyan trees are here the author is saying that these trees have the most delicate new leaves. If you will see the new leaves which comes out from the trees, they are pale pink, silky, soft, and beautifully shaped, and even you can use them as a bookmark in your album or in your books. Next paragraph. Most birds start making their nests in March. Vultures and kites, which started off earlier, are busy making nests. For some years, I have watched a couple of white-backed vultures. I presume they are the same every year. Choose the same cleft in the branches of the ailanthus overlooking the golf club swimming pool. So here, the author is telling about some of the birds like vultures. Okay, they and kites also, means they start making nest in the month of March. And here he has mentioned a white backed vulture, and that bird, he always choose the same cleft in the branches of the ailanthus overlooking the golf club swimming pool. Next paragraph. This tree is common in Delhi. Its Latin name, ailanthus, tree of heaven, excelsa, very tall, is summed up by its Hindi name, Mahavriksha, the great tree. Okay, the ailanthus, this tree in Hindi we call it as Mahavriksha. Okay, and it is very common in Delhi. There are quite a few specimens in the golf club and along many roads. Its flowers, which come out late in February, are hardly visible, and its fruits, which drops by June, cannot be eaten. However, its soft wood is used for making packing cases and matchsticks. So here are some of the use of this tree. Okay, now it is saying that its flowers which come out late in February, the flowers of this tree comes late in February, and hardly any fruits are visible, and this fruits drops by June, which you cannot eat, and the woods are soft, and and that is usually used for making cases or matchsticks. Now, in the last paragraph of the same page, some vultures seem to have a sense of history and like to rear their young in ancient buildings. A pair of nephrons has for years occupied the same niche in the western wall of the Bara Gumbad in Lodi Garden. And as Englishmen makes a fetish about hearing the first cuckoo in spring, I record the first time I hear the quail's full-throated cry, rather than the half-hearted gurgles that one hears during winter months. Okay, in this paragraph it is talking about a pair of neophrons. Neophrons are actually vultures with yellow beaks. It is given here in the word meanings, you can see. And it is telling about that this pair of nephrons has for years occupied the same niche. Same niche means same position, okay, means same place in the western wall of the Bada Gumbad in Lodi Garden. Now, as Englishmen make a fetish means idea which is given a lot of importance about hearing the first cuckoo in spring. I record the first time I hear the koel's full-throated cry rather than the half-hearted gurgles. Okay, now he heard koel's full-throated cry rather than the half-hearted gurgles. Okay, that one hears during the winter months. Okay, in Delhi, their throats open up in the first week of March and get clearer as the day gets warmer and as nesting season draws nearer. About the same time, the papihas, hawk cuckoos, begin to announce their presence. So here the author is telling about koel's full-throated cry in Delhi, and then he is talking about the papihas, the hawk cuckoos, means at the same time in the first week of March, means they start announcing their presence. Now in the second paragraph, bird songs can be heard round the clock. Crow peasants deep-throated hook, hook, hook. Tree pies harsh overture followed by a tinkling of bells. And golden orioles' fruity mellifluous calls can be heard every morning. On a warm afternoon, the tuk 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 of coppersmiths, Basanta or the crimson-throated barbet sounds very much like the short blasts made by the diesel operated floor mills in villages. So here some of the names of the birds are given, means they announce their presence in this month of March. Okay, you have to learn this, some of the names of the birds that been given over here: crow peasants, then golden orioles, then here coppersmith, Basanta or the crimson throated barber. Okay, you have to remember their names. Now in the next paragraph, no songbird in India can match the magpie, robin, shama or dayal. It usually sings only in the early hours of the morning or at twilight and evening. Now one more bird's name has been mentioned: magpie, robin, shama or dayal. In Hindi we call it as shama and dayal, and it usually sings only in the early hours of the morning or twilight and evening. Okay, then in March, the Lodi Gardens and the Buddha Jayanti Park are much frequented by the picnickers. The Buddha Jayanti Park specializes in planting masses of the same flower for each bed. The Lodi Gardens has quite a few flowering trees and beds of pansies, phlox, salvias, violets and other delicate varieties of flowers. Now here in the month of March, the Lodi Garden and the Buddha Jayanti Park has been mentioned over here, that they are frequented by the picnickers, means people go to enjoy and have picnic. The Buddha Jayanti Park specializes in planting masses of same flowers for each bed. The Lodi Gardens has quite a few flowering trees and beds of pansies, means here some of the names of the flowers, the varieties of flowers has been mentioned over here, that we can find in Lodi Gardens. They are pansies, phlox, salvias, violets and other delicate varieties of flowers. A good time for visiting parks is the afternoon of Holi, after the colored water sports are over and most people are tired or engaged in post-Holi feasting. So here the author is saying that a good time for visiting parks is the afternoon of Holi, when there is a Holi, means in the afternoon after all has played the Holi with the colored water and everything is over, and when the people are already tired or engaged in post Holi feasting, means at the afternoon. He's telling about the afternoon, and after the people have played the Holi, that is the most best time to go and visit the parks. Then in the Lodi Gardens, purple bougainvilleas, the most luxuriant and pristine variety of the species, make a splendid show. To be seen among the birds are owlets sitting in the holes of old walls, taking the sun in with their eyes shut and shrikes. Now, this author is telling about the purple bougainvilleas in the Lodi gardens, which are the most luxuriant and pristine. Pristine means fresh and clean. It looks like something is new. Okay, and varieties of species make a splendid show. Means all these flowers, they look so beautiful in the Lodi gardens. And to be seen among the birds are owlets sitting in the holes of old walls, taking the sun with their eyes shut and shrikes. Then they can see the owlets, they are sitting in the holes of old walls, and they are taking, means they are taking the sun in with their eyes shut and shrikes. You can generally spot the bay-backed and rufous shrikes on the lower branches of trees. The shrike is also known as the butcher bird because of its nasty habit of impaling live insects on thorns. So here the two or three birds have been mentioned over here, that is bay-backed and rufous shrike, and shrike is also known as the butcher bird because of its nasty habit of impaling means pushing a sharp pointed object through something, and they are impaling on live insects on thorns. Now in the last paragraph, in the last week of the month, spring vegetables and fruits flood the market. Cucumbers and kakri star are on the lunch menus. Watermelons, both cantaloupes and muskmelons, tarboos and kharbuza, are available in the market. In recent years, their quality has improved. Now, it is telling about the last week of the month of the March. We can see the spring vegetables and fruits flood in the market. Means all of a sudden, there are so many vegetables and spring vegetables and fruits in the market. We can see, and cucumbers and kakris. Cucumbers in Hindi we call it as kheera, and kakris are on the lunch menus. Watermelons, both cantaloupes and muskmelons, means tarboos and kharbuza, you know that their Hindi names, are available in the market, and in the recent years their quality has improved. The quality of this vegetables and fruits have improved. Now, in my younger days, you had to be an expert to tell the sweet melons from the tasteless. One only bought kharbuza said to have come from Tonk or Saharanpur. Today, you have to be unlucky to bring home a flat tasting melon. Most of them are sweet and succulent. So, here, this author is telling about how to distinguish between a tasteless melons and sweet melons, and he is telling that kharbuza said to have come from Tonk or Saharanpur were said to be good, and today you have to be unlucky to bring, means if you are unlucky if you have brought a tasteless melon, because most of them are sweet and succulent. Succulent means full of juice. Closely following on the heels of these earthy fruits come mulberries, both the white and purple variety. Mangoes from the south and the much fancied Alfonso from the Konkan coast can be had for a price in fruit shop catering to be rich, but for locally grown varieties of this king of fruits you have to wait for a few more weeks. Now here the author is telling that this earthy fruits means fruits, all the fruits, this watermelon, mangoes, means both the white and the purple variety, means they are actually very tasty. And mangoes from the south and much fancied Alfonso is a type of mango from the Konkan east can be had for a price in fruit shops catering to be rich. Okay, now but for the locally grown varieties of this king of fruits you have to wait for a few more weeks. So here he is telling about the market values of the fruits, and but for the locally grown, means for these fruits, those who are locally grown varieties of this king of fruits, you have to wait for few more weeks. So this is all about this chapter. March.